natin ang iba't ibang isyung hinaharap ng ating lipunan sa cyberspace. Welcome to CyberChat and be a cyber guardian. During our first 3 episodes, tinalakay natin ng masinsinan ang matinding suliranin ng online sexual abuse and exploitation of children. Then, we shifted to another serious issue affecting our children and the youth last episode, ang cyberbullying. But today, we will focus on the impact of cyberbullying to the cyberbullied victims and the cyberbullies. Last episode, we quoted the following statistics from the UNICEF's U report conducted in June 2019 that said that 1 in 3 young people in 30 countries, including the Philippines, have been a victim of online bullying. Then it also cited that 1 in 5 people said they skipped school due to cyberbullying and violence. If we are to translate that survey into Philippine data, ang population ng 10 to 24 years old that we can refer to as young could be social media users would be 30.7 million by the end of 2019 based on the Philippine Statistics Authority. And 1/3 of that would be a little more than 10 million na possibly being bullied. And 1/5 of the 10 million or 2 million would have missed school due to cyberbullying, as UNICEF U report covering 30 countries, including the Philippines, indicated. UNICEF also did a poll of 1 million 15 to 24-year-old respondents naman, showing that 70% of young people have been affected by online violence, cyberbullying, and digital harassment in over 160 countries, at kasama uli ang Pilipinas dyan. And that 70% of 15 to 24-year-old respondents would translate to 14 million. This is really alarming. Precisely why UNICEF called for urgent action to implement policies to protect children and young people both from online and offline bullying. Last episode, our guests mentioned that there are various forms of cyberbullying. Mamaya babalikan natin ang ilan sa mga types of cyberbullying, yung mga most common sa mga kabataan. Katunayan, meron tayong mga panelists who experienced these forms of cyberbullying. And again, this will be explained to us by our subject matter experts. Obviously, iba ang setup ng studio as we will have a different discussion format. We have 2 sets of guests. Our subject matter experts, whom we will be talking with shortly, and our panelists, who will be asking our experts various questions. This would be really interesting at marami po tayong matututunan dito. CyberChat Episode 5 is all focused on the cyberbullied and the cyberbullies. A deeper understanding of the impact of cyberbullying on them or to them. Our episode title is Bata, Bata, Dalawa ang Mukha. Well, bukod sa we will actually be covering 2 episodes today, tuloy-tuloy lang. Our episode title has a deeper meaning. Most cyberbullies turn to online bullying and unleash their repressed anger in cyberspace because they are bullied themselves. Hence, pareho din sila ng mga cyberbullying victims actually. Dalawang mukha, pero dalawang perspectives. We will find out from our guests later if that is correct. Let us also not forget to mention the 2 overarching questions we try to answer in every episode. For today's topic, we again ask, has communication and digital technology really improved our lives? Or it has caused more social ills and cybercrimes affecting our children and the youth? What is your take on it? So samahan niyo po kami dito sa CyberChat airing on TV Maria. At pwede din po kayong sumali sa ating talakayan, magbigay ng inyong opinion, feedback, comments, suggestions sa CyberChat Facebook account. Sa ating pong pagbabalik, let us welcome our special guests for today. tayo dito sa CyberChat. There have been a number of studies done in the past which show the lasting effects of cyberbullying on both the bullied and bullies themselves. Ayon sa ilang mga pag-aaral, cyberbullying has serious long-term consequences. At ngayong araw, tutulungan tayo ng ating mga guests para mas lalong maintindihan ang cyberbullying and its impact to the cyberbullied and the cyberbullies themselves. Our first guest holds an MA in Theology and an MS in Pastoral Counseling and completed his PhD in Pastoral Counseling at the Loyola College in Maryland, USA. He was ordained in 1987 as a priest of the Society of Jesus, and since then, he has been involved in family ministry. He has been teaching at Loyola School of Theology at Ateneo de Manila University, and is connected with Center for Family Ministries as a counselor. Let us welcome to CyberChat, Father Teodulo Gonzalez, or Father Ted. Welcome to CyberChat, Father. Good day.
Hello, thank you. Yes, welcome.
We also have here with us today a clinical psychologist, a psychotherapist, a behavioral management therapist, University Psychology Professor, Dr. Fernando Carandang, or Dr. John. Good day, Dr. John.
Good day. Yeah.
Our next guest is a clinical psychotherapist, writer, and speaker. He is a published book author, international life coach, TV radio consultant, and chess psychologist and champion. His educational background includes a BS in psychology, an MA in counseling psychology, a master's degree in divinity, and 2 doctorate degrees, a doctor of ministry majoring in mental health and counseling, and a PhD in clinical Christian psychotherapy. Let us welcome Dr. Angelo Subida, or Dr. Angelo.
Thank you.
Good day. It's an honor to have you here with us, Dr. Angelo. Wow, we have powerhouse guests for today. And I'm sure marami po tayong matututunan sa ating talakayan. Cyberbullying is bullying that occurs through electronic technology. Therefore, the same characteristics that define face-to-face bullying, such as intention to harm, yung repeated aggression, and the real or perceived imbalance of power must be present for any online transaction. So in short, as for me, cyberbullying would just have the same impact to the victim. Having said that, what are the common effects and feelings associated with both cyberbullying and plain bullying?
Usually, in science, they talk about continuum. Parang range, no? Meron iba, siguro matapang. So, lalaban sila. Okay? Pero meron iba naman, parang they take it on. And they absorb the trauma or the bullying. Parang, mamaya, nagtatago na sila. Ganoon. Meron iba kasi parang nahihiya na sila sa public, mga kaklase nila, o yung ibang mga tao, parang, kasi yung iba, mas grabe pa, baka merong death threats, minsan. So, depende kung anong klaseng bullying, anong yan, no? Tsaka baka merong range of difficulty, no? Siguro iba, hindi makatulog, ma-depress, ganyan. So, tapos, hindi makapag-aral na maayos. So, baka hindi makakain, hindi natin alam, no? So, depende, titingnan siguro kung ano yung range ng effect ba. At saka anong severity.
Assuming I am the cyberbullied victim, Father, what can I do when I'm being harassed, threatened online, or my friends are making fun of me and they excluded me? We can go to Dr. Angelo.
Well, depende sa severity, sabi nga ni Father, no? Severity of impact nung cyberbullying dun sa victim. Meron kasing normal, merong mild, may chronic, may severe. And usually, merong manifestations, especially sa area ng pathology, doon sa severe na tsaka chronic. So usually, mga feelings involved there would be like lowering of self-confidence, depression, even suicidal thoughts and attempts, yung mga ganang feelings na gusto nila mawala na sa mundo because of what was done to them. Meron ding tinatawag na some kind of a manifestation din dun sa feeling nila of self-worth. Sila ba ay worthy as a person of anything in this world?
They have very low self-esteem.
More likely, they are responding the way they would respond because there was already a pre-existing condition on the person.
Right.
In other words, nabully siya, but not all na nabully o na cyberbully would have the same response as he or she would have. Right? So most of the time, meron talagang pre-existing condition muna yung tao of a difficult home environment maybe, or maybe already suffering from low self-esteem, and then pumasok yung stimulus na yan, cyberbullying.
Dr. John, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, just to summarize dun sa mga sinabi ni Father Ted at Dr. Angelo, the cyberbullied, the victims will suffer from a poor mental health. Talagang it really damages the emotional, the psychological, even the physical, the spiritual, the entire being of the person. Kaya sasabihin lang natin na nabasa lang yan sa Facebook or sa social media, baliwalain mo lang yan, huwag ka na magpa-apekto. No. It depends on how the victim receive yung mga threats or mga comment. Talagang it really damages the entire system ng kanyang behavior. Even the behavior, it absolutely affects. Minsan, he or she loses his appetite. And then, pangit na yung body image niya. Totoo ba yun? Parang pinaniniwalaan niya. And that's the time that the bullied, the victims, have this kind of condition of poor mental health. So that's one of the effects.
So that is the common symptom pala, Dr. John, yung loss of appetite.
Yeah, or sleepless nights.
Sleepless nights.
Kasi talagang, and sometimes he or she is anxious na ayaw niya tingnan yung kanyang Facebook account or yung kanyang Instagram, baka may sasabihin. Mas kawawa, yeah.
Mental anguish kasi.
Yeah, saka hindi mo akalain na akala mo okay siya. Minsan, bakit parang nabago ang behavior mo? Ano nangyari? The victims are really just want to keep quiet na lang, sarilinin, and then eventually, malala na pala ang kondisyon.
How about other signs of depression? Yung iba kasi may tendency mag-commit ng suicide.
Yeah.
Mga extreme yun, parang extreme. So yun, di ba sabi natin parang range.
Yes.
So yun, parang wala na makausap yun. Parang sinasarili na yun, sabi kanina, no? Itong parang dinidibdib. At saka parang, kumbaga, kinain na siya nung bully. At saka yung negative experience. So pati yung pananaw niya sa buhay, parang madilim. Parang ganon. Kaya gusto magtago na. Tapos minsan parang gusto ng, parang hopeless na, parang ganon, hopeless. Pero nagsisimula yun kasi nadidepress, saka mga negative yung pag-iisip. Ano kaya iisipin ng mga kaklase ko? Ano kaya iisipin ng ibang tao, yung mga kamag-anak ko, yung mga kilala ko? Kasi, di ba, sa Facebook, friends, mabilis mag-viral yun.
Aside from that, yung belief system mababago.
Opo.
Kasi kung ano yung nababasa niya sa comments, ano ba sabihin, bakit hindi mo kaya subukan, kung hindi ka masaya sa buhay ngayon, ba't hindi mo subukan ang kabilang buhay? Yun ang paniniwalaan niya yun. O, hindi ka maganda. Hindi maganda yung mga sinasabi mo, pangit ka, something like that. Paniniwalaan niya yun. Why not mag-suicide ka?
It's the evil one talking.
So, ang bata kapag ito yung nabasa niya, paniniwalaan niya to, didibdibin, ito na yung magkukos ng kanya na baka nga totoo. Baka nga hindi nga ako mahal. Baka nga tama yung sinabi ng mga netizens sa akin. Something like that.
Thank you po, Dr. John. Isang klase or form ng cyberbullying ang nauuso ngayon, yung intentional sharing of lewd photos and videos. At ang isang common na din ngayon ay sexting. So for our viewers who might not be familiar with the word sexting, it is the sending, receiving, or forwarding of sexually explicit messages, photographs, or images, primarily between mobile phones of oneself to others. Kasama din dyan yung paggamit ng computer or any digital device. What could have possibly prompted one to take nude photos or videos of himself or herself, or doing the act itself with a partner, another person, and share these on social media? And based on similar cases you've handled, Father, what are the common reasons for these two behaviors? And after this, I'll also ask the same thing from Dr. Angelo?
Okay, ang parang narinig ko, merong app. Merong app na doon parang nag-chat yung mga tao, tapos pwede ka mag-share doon. Ang problema lang nito, kung yung tao na nakakuha ng hubad, sabihin natin, o naked nude picture ng tao, pwedeng kaibigan niya, pero parang kumbaga nagkaigihan at sabihin na basta yung linya, no? Tapos after a while, isi-share yon sa tao na nag-i-initiate. Ang problema lang kung itong taong naka-receive na nag-initiate na sige nga magtanggal ka, ganyan-ganyan o whatever, parang nawalan siya ng self-control. Parang wala nang paggalang yon.
Opo.
Tapos, ang problema pa nito, kung isinir yan kung kani-kanino at parang mamaya, ang tawag sa Rappler niya, parang weaponized. It is weaponized and then it just shared through different people and then sila na yung tao. So,
What is your take on this naman, Dr. Angelo?
I have a couple, partner sila, male and female. Ganyan-ganyan ang kanilang sitwasyon. Yung lalaki ay may ganito na habit. Okay? Aside from pornography, meron siyang sexting and all of that. And based on the discussion we would be having during our meetings, I realized na yung kanyang problema ay not purely external. Dahil available yung mga ganung material o kaya merong mga picture ng mga hubad na babae at nilalagay niya ron and so on, pinipicturean niya yung sarili niya. Meron din siyang ganon and so on. But it's more internal sa case niya kasi meron siya mga issues, unprocessed pain, unresolved business inside him that would drive and fuel that kind of behavior. Yun ang hinahanap niya, yung part na yun. Kasi kung tayo ay magfo-focus lang sa external, available sa internet ang mga ganito, pwede kang mag-pausing dyan and so on, you're only looking at the surface level. But you're not actually looking at the roots, the one underneath fueling or driving that kind of behavior. Usually, ang ano lang natin, tinitignan, yun lang, di ba?
Opo.
Kung ano lang yung nakikita ng mata natin. So that's where emotional
Superficial.
roots, that's where spiritual roots, that's where psychological roots are coming from. Pag nakuha natin yon, I think that's where real recovery can come from.
Let us pause for a break while reflecting on what we have been discussing here. Dr. Angelo, you've just given us the common reasons for these sexually deviant behaviors. Ano po kaya ito? May nakukuha ba silang thrill dito? Or has times simply changed? Ano po ito, Doc?
Well, sa aking perspective, I think yung thrill nila ay hindi galing doon sa pagpo-post nila. Doon sa kanilang hubad na ipinopost sa social media. Nanggagaling yon doon sa isang experience or feeling na nararamdaman nila kapag ginagawa nila yon. In other words, doon sila nagkakaroon ng thrill. Doon sa atensyon na nakukuha nila, doon sa high, this is a drug of choice. This is a type of drug.
Opo.
Na kapag kinuha nila yon, tinake nila yon, merong experience, may feeling, doon sila na-addict. Doon sila na-attach. Not on the activity itself.
Okay, Doc.
That's where I'm coming from. Now, times have not changed in the sense that even way before, many hundreds of years, may mga ganun na tayong problema because of our human nature that should be governed by values, right? By spiritual guidelines on the way we would live our lives. So, isa yan sa nagbe-breakdown in our society. May corruption sa society natin, okay? At yung corruption ng society na yon ay dahil sa corruption of our human nature that has become devoid of values, that has become devoid of spiritual guidelines some steps to be done in order to avoid things like that.
As a parent or teacher, for example, as a parent ako, kunwari, how would I know if my child, o kung teacher naman ako, how would I know that my student is being cyberbullied? Ano po ba mga indicators na nararanasan niya ng isang bata?
Okay, tingnan natin yung behavior niya. If there is some sudden changes of behavior, like dati masayahin siya, bakit parang naging malungkot? Dati active siya sa social media, bakit nawala? I mean, bakit meron siya mga post na parang kakaiba na? So you have to read the words, no? The only thing that we can do as I'm a teacher, so is to empathize. Okay, kasi there are times that they are misunderstood na yan kasi kasalanan mo. Kung ano-ano kasi pinupost mo. Sometimes the parents are like that. They are not mindful of their words, no? And it will not really help the
It
child.
exacerbates the situation
Oh, it
further.
really causes so much pain pa. Kaya we have to be very more careful about the words na, kasi wala kang ginawang maghapon, kundi mag-post ka sa social media accounts mo. So yan tuloy na pala mo. Sometimes hindi naiintindihan ng magulang kung ano yung epekto.
Lalo nang i-humiliate yung bata, nag-undergo na nga ng katakot-takot na humiliation,
Yes.
diba?
And then especially some teachers like, ano ito nababalitaan ko sa inyo? Bakit ganito? Blah, blah, blah. So may judgment agad. So I believe that we have to be more mindful of the words that we should say, kasi it will cause emotional wounds that really will last forever.
We have been exhaustively talking about the cyberbullied victims. This time around, let us talk about the cyberbullies. Doc Subida, tama ba na karamihan sa mga bullies ay cyberbullied victims themselves? Or ano ba tingin niyo, Doc? Ato ba ay simply nire-release nila yung repressed anger nila on cyberspace?
Okay, that's something that may be coming from psychology, more specifically developmental psychology, na kung saan ay pwedeng tanggalingan yung kanyang earlier childhood development. There's substantial research done on this, something to do with cyberbullying and bullying in general. They would say na yung pagbubully ng isang tao ay nagsisimula between toddler years and preschool years. So if that was left unchecked, hindi siya na-check, hindi siya na-supervise ng adults o ng parents, what they would say, according to research, it's bound to develop into a full-blown bullying behavior or bullying character. Kasi nag-umpisa yun while he's a child. So you're saying na nabully din ba siya? I remember this client, ang sabi niya, itong si Stallone, ang sabi niya, nung siya ay bata pa, kasama ng dalawang lalaking kapatid niya, sinisipa siya, tinatadyakan, dinuduraan ng kanyang ama. So they grew up fearing their dad. Okay? Nung lumaki siya, there was something he experienced inside himself na naghahanap siya, nagsha-shopping siya na kung sino ang pwede niyang gawa ng ganun din. Sino ba ang pwede kong classmate na pwede kong sipain din, pwede ko ring duraan, pwede ko ring i-bully. Okay? At yun yung naging behavior niya. Nung nagkaroon siya ng trabaho, when he became an adult, yun naman ang ginawa niya sa opisina. Pero ang paborito niya na victim sa opisina ay yung mga gay. Yung mga bakla. Yun ang dinuduraan niya, yun ang sinisipa
yun
niya.
Yun ang object ng kanyang hatred
yun
niya.
Yung object ng kanya. The weaker vessel. Weaker vessel. Remember, it came from an imprint. There was an imprint. An earlier conditioning, emotional conditioning, coming from the father. So we can say that cyberbullies are made, not born.
Right, Doc. So what usually goes on in the mind of a cyberbully? Anyone from our guests?
To revenge, basically. Kasi kaya nga tama sinabi ni Doc Angelo na in my case, kapag may mga referrals, Doc, bakit po yung anak ko nananakit ng kapwa bata? I usually ask the parent, ano po ba ginawa niyo sa anak niyo nung bata pa siya? Pinalo niyo po ba? Sabi niya, kasi makulit to eh. Kasi wala siyang silbing bata, wala siyang magandang ginawa. So, all the negative words na introduce sa bata. So, that's the reason why. Because you introduce violence. Once na-introduce mo na yung violence sa bata, so, iisipin niya, nanay ko, tatay ko, sinaktan ako. Ngayon, tinawag ako ng nanay ko, kuya. So, dahil ako kuya, ako na ang ngayon gagawa.
Ginagaya niya, na-emulate niya yung parent.
Well, sinaktan ako ng nanay ko, gagawin ko. Yun yung nagiging tendency. At ako personally, kaya hindi rin maganda rin yung negative discipline na epekto sa bata. Kasi once na-introduce mo yung violence, magiging habit yan, magiging characteristic na yan na manakit.
Opo.
Diba?
Father Ted, what is the role of parents in making sure that their children do not turn out as bullies, like cyber bullies?
Wala namang perfect na parents, no? Tanungin mo mga parents na medyo mabigat yung kamay, yun ang alam nila na disiplina. Actually, alam mo, galing ako kinikwento sa isang island, no? Hindi ko na sabihin kung saan island. So, nagre-recollection yung mga, merong facilitators. Tapos, when they try to talk about ano yung hindi mo malimutan na karanasan sa iyong mga magulang. Sa mga bata to, okay? Nako, karamihan sa mga bata, ang naalala nila, sila inilagay sa sako, mga ganon, o pinaluhod sa mga munggo, o I don't know, hindi ko alam, parang yung mga, basta yung mga corporal punishment. At doon naiiyak yung mga bata habang kinikwento nila na hindi malimutan. Siguro, nung bata sila, medyo malikot konti, ganyan. Actually, sa kabilang banda, parang kagaya siguro to, hindi alam na yung mga magulang nasa kabila, nakikinig sa mga bata. At anong mga karanasin nila, ng mga memories, no? Na sila ay sinaktan. Pero hindi ba alam ng mga parents siya kasi yun ang alam nila na parang form of discipline. Yun ang masama yung mga parents.
Opo.
Siguro they can learn lessons, how to balance, ganon, and how to be more positive and affirming. Tsaka siguro to say sorry.
Yes,
Minsan na nangyari, hindi nila alam. Parang ganon, na parang tumatak sa isip
That
nila.
way, they're also teaching their children to be humble.
Oh, in a sense. No?
Acknowledge
Para
their
mag-apologize din ng parents, siguro. Or kasi they didn't know. Kailan doon mag-usap?
Yes, Father.
Sige.
At Dr. John naman, how about ang school teachers kaya? What can they do to help the cyberbullies?
Okay, basically, kailangan equip natin yung teacher on how to talk to them, lalo na sa mga cyberbullies. Kasi baka maramdaman ng mga cyberbullies na hindi pa sila nagsasalita, may parusa na agad sila.
May judgment na
May judgment na. So, ang tendency, parang wala na silang paraan para ma-express kung ano ba talagang ang ugat or reason why they committed such action, no? I myself, kasi may mga ilang schools na kapag nagkaroon ka ng case ng cyberbullying at ikaw yung cyberbullies, automatic mayroong disciplinary action yon. And para sa school, wala nang parang as if wala nang kapatawaran yung iba sa bata. So para sa akin, it's better na i-reform yung bata. Okay? I-rehabilitate. Hindi agad-agad na sabihin na suspended ka ng isang buwan kasi sa ginawa mo. So hindi mo natulungan yung bata. Parang pabor pa sa bata na hindi pumasok. Something like that. So I myself, kailangan equip natin yung teachers and school admin reviewin para hindi lang sa victim yung address natin, pati doon sa cyberbullies.
While we are worried about the extent and parang the speed of etong nga parang trending, how to learn to communicate, how to give feedback, how to manage conflict, pwedeng turuan yung mga kabataan na gano'n para they can monitor themselves. Halimbawa, galit ako, baka babanatan makita agad, gano'n. O sa labas tayo, doon tayo magkita, gano'n. Pero baka meron paraan ng medyo may paggalang. Parang active non-violence, parang gano'n.
Let us pause for a break while reflecting on what we have been discussing here. technology has drastically changed the way we live. It has caused disruptions in communication and brought about many social ills like cyberbullying and online trafficking and cybersex. From a perspective of a teacher, Dr. John, a doctor, Dr. Angelo, and a priest, Dr. Ted, what could still be done to arrest these cybercrimes? Any one of you may elaborate on this? We can start with Dr. John.
Yeah. For me as a teacher, I think we have to be more vigilant so what is happening to our students and what are the things that they posting in their social media accounts, so that we may able to address right there and then. Kasi we should not tolerate then any words na ipopost nila or any pictures, no. Pag sa tingin namin mali, it should be mali, hindi pa pwedeng hayaan. Kasi if we allow them, it might the student or the young adult might think na bali wala lang pala kay teacher, so
I can
pwede.
get away with it.
Yeah, so pwede yun. Baka at tingin permissive kami. So I think we have to be vigilant and sensitive doon sa feelings nila. Baka may mali talaga sa ginawa. So kailangan talaga i-stop right away.
And Dr. Angelo?
Well, I think that technology is not the problem. The user of technology, the one that's using it, and what's going on inside him or her, that's where the problem lies. Technology has contributed a lot sa atin, diba? Sa advancement natin and so on. So in order to arrest the spread of cybercrimes or cyberbullying, I would say na ang atake dapat doon ay twofold. One is external, and the other one is internal. When you say external, that is the developmental logistics, meaning meron tayong law enforcement, meron tayong legal protection, meron tayong school system that would be protective ng mga bata, diba, na maaaring cyberbully. Kagaya na sinabi ni Father regarding parental chat or teacher-student chat groups and so on. Those are externals. Also inside the home, inside the family, pwedeng magkaroon ng control or moderation of the use of internet and also access.
Right.
Access dun sa mga pwedeng matempt yung mga bata, right? So external yon, logistics. Internal, that's the curative component. Pag sinabi mong internal, curative yon. And that's where permanent healing comes from. Pag sinabing curative, that's the difficult part. In fact, the most difficult part. Kasi inside the person na yon. And usually that's what we do in therapy, in counseling. But I think generally the school system has a lot to do with this, and also the family system, and also society in general, the values that we have been imparting to our children, our young people, and so on. Doon usually umiikot yung internal nung nagsa-cyberbully. Okay? So para ma-spread yon, para ma-prevent yung spreading of this menace in our society, dapat external at saka internal ang atake. Okay? Otherwise, we would just be scratching the surface and not really going to the roots.
I couldn't agree more, Dr. Angelo. Father Ted?
Yung akin po, simple lang. Una, yung paano natin aalagaan yung mga nabully. Kasi sila yung nasaktan. So, siguro unahin mo na yung nabully.
Opo.
Ito yung sinaktan, ibig sabihin. Pero, yung nanakit o yung bully, kailangan din siyang alagaan. Yun. So, parang may binabanggit kanina, na yung technology parang neutral siya. Neutral. It's available, may access, parang ganon. Siguro baka pwedeng matulong dalawa. One, yung preventive ang tawag na sinasabi kanina. Preventive is also like educative, teaching, may mga modules, ang guidance, ganyan, o kaya yung mga teachers na pwedeng parang preventive on human skills. Ang tawag nila dyan, parang life skills. Na pwedeng maturo sa mga kabataan na hindi yung pwedeng banatan lang isang tao pag ayaw mo, parang gano'n. O kaya kahit na, so parang kumbaga may paggalang sa tao.
Opo.
Yung ganon. So parang maraming mga, I think narinig ko parang values, no? Pwedeng ituro, mga ganon. Now, meron pa isa. Lalo na sa mga nabully, kanina mo to i-refer. Kasi merong sabi nga kaya ni Dr. Angelo sa Bida, na parang ito parang marami kang kailangan tignan. Pwede yung nabully o yung nambully. So, ano yung ating referral sa guidance, mga gano'n? O kaya sa mga centers na pwedeng tulungan sila. Pwedeng counseling. Saan mo sila i-refer? Yan, mga agencies. Tapos, meron ding preventive policy making. So, pwedeng, ano ba to? Yung parang, ano ba to? Congress ba to? Hindi, ganyan. For laws, ganyan. O kaya ang school. Kasi sabi, narinig ko yata sa isang discussion, pwedeng merong legal na path o yung parang highway, para meron kang paraan paano ito haharapin. So, merong mga laws. Pero meron ding, tinatawag silang, even the school can monitor and have policies how to go about it. Let's say, tawag doon protocol.
Yes.
So, even in the school, merong protocol. Anong gagawin kung sabihin natin, hala, nabasa sa internet, ito na kung ano lumalabas sa sinusulat ng mga bata, gano'n. O kung sino-sinong troll ng, sino bang pwedeng mag-monitor dyan. Tapos mamaya, anong steps gagawin? So, protocol, gano'n. Sinong kakausapin? Meron ba tayo mga consultants, na mga parents, ganyan, o mga lawyers, or meron tayong guidance counselors, o meron tayong spiritual director, na pwedeng may campus ministry, meron bang pwedeng may protocol na parang, kumbaga, sinasalansan para preventive, parang ganun.
Thank you, Father Ted. Yes, Dr.
Just a quick addition. I think the church is a very important source here of preventing the spread of this type of crime, no? Cybercrime, because it has to do with the internal rehabilitation of every person. I think it's important na tignan natin ito hindi lamang dun sa in the form of data or information, because data itself is disembodied. Ibig sabihin, pag walang real living experience of what is known or what is supposed to be right, okay, walang embodied experience, hindi nagiging realistic or hindi talaga na-implement yung life change na tinatawag. So it has to be experienced in real life, and I think the churches can help there a lot. The way they would care for people and so on, not just the schools, because we're talking about values here.
The churches can serve as catalysts for this values formation.
Yes, that's right.
Lalong lumalalim ang ating pag-unawa sa cyberbullying, both sa dinaranas ng cyberbullied at ng cyberbully. Ipagpapatuloy po natin ang ating talakayan. Mamaya makakasama naman natin ang nasa sektor ng edukasyon. Meron tayong guro, meron tayong principal. In fact, meron din tayong mga panelists na nakaranas ng actual cyberbullying. At itong mga dating victims of cyberbullying na ngayon ay naging survivors na at lumalaban sa mga dating nag-oppress at nanakit sa kanila, ay meron ding ibibigay na mungkahi para sa ating mga kabataang nararanasan ng ganitong klaseng pait na nasa cyberbully sila sa school o sa community nila. Together with the Cyber Guardians PH, we at CyberChat believe that we can work together as one to end cyberbullying. Be a Cyber Guardian.